Lightweight e-mountain bikes. Now there's a subject. Okay, put it another way. At what weight do we actually move into the full power class? Can full power e-mountain bikes actually be lightweight? Can lightweight e-mountain bikes be low power, but maybe be on the tubby side? In this video, we aim to straighten out some of the myths surrounding the lightweight breed. There has been lots and lots of chat about lightweight, low and mid-assist bikes in the past 6 to 12 months. And there have been some great bikes to accompany this chat: Transition, Focus and Pivot with the new Fazua motor. Amazing bikes. The Trek Fuel EXE and more recently the BMCN Simplon with the TQ motor. But they were not the first, and those bikes came off the back of fantastic bikes such as the Levo and Canevo SL and the Orbea Rise. But the key thing is that these bikes are actually very, very different, and that is why the lightweight crossbreed EMTB is often misunderstood. I think the most important thing is to understand that lightweight EMTBs were never meant to be ridden in full power, and they were actually never meant to replace standard EMTBs anyway. Light EMTBs are not competitors to conventional EMTBs with standard motors. If anything, they're closer to analog trail bikes. This is important as it has implications for how, who, and where you ride them. So let's tick off some metrics when it comes to the lightweight EMTBs. First of all, is it about the weight of the bike? Well, not really. When you consider the full power Bullsonic Evo AM SL with a 750 watt-hour battery weighs in at just over 21 kilos, then maybe not. And if you cast your mind back to 2020 when Specialized launched the Gen 2 Levo 700 watt-hour battery, again full power, just over 20 kilos. And that was like 2-3 years ago. So weight, maybe not, but we'll return to that a little bit later. So is then a lightweight EMTB one that has a lighter level of power? That's probably more like it, or at least it was. Now, the Levo SL, for example, might actually be a light assist bike. It has 35 Newton meters, and guess what? When it was first launched in the beginning of 2020, an S-Works version weighed sub 17 kilos. Yep, that's right. So the new breed of light EMTBs then, are they light assist? Well, not really. They're more of a middleweight, and many brands, including Fazua, are keen to point that out. So as you can see, the lightweight EMTB is very difficult to pigeonhole. Let's have a look at a chart for a minute. This then is a chart based on torque and peak power. The main question though is, at what point does light become mid and then full power? As you can see, the Levo SL 35 Newton meters with a peak power of 240 watts, the TQ 50 Newton meters, the Fazua 60 Newton meters and a 400 peak power, which is a big difference to the Levo. Then you have the EP8 RS 60 Newton meters and of course the EP8 and many other motors at 85. But folks, I'm interested to see what you guys think a lightweight EMTB is. Now going back, I think many people think lightweight means it's all about the experience. It's about the flexibility that frame designers have. It's about geometries. It's about battery concepts. So motors and power, just metrics, maybe what matters is the modulation of power. I don't know, maybe we'll return to that a little bit later. Next up is batteries, and batteries, let's face it, are equally as complex as motors because they come in different shapes and sizes and battery capacities. And because lightweight EMTBs are modular, that means they come often with range extenders. And you know what? I find range extenders equally baffling. I feel like we're not actually getting much closer to a real definition of what a lightweight EMTB is. Maybe we'll never get there. Maybe a lightweight EMTB is, after all, a bit like a trail bike. What is a trail bike? Is it 120 with a steep head tube angle? Is it 140 with slack angles, more of an enduro style bike? I don't know, maybe. Let's have a look now then at some of the weights and capacities of the main battery contenders. Obviously, the more powerful bikes need more battery, hence heavier weights. You'll see both the Levo SL and the higher powered TQ have similar weight batteries, although the TQ has 40 watt-hours more for the same weight. At the same time, the Levo SL draws less electricity than the TQ and therefore might get more range. The T-Cube battery, on the other hand, is incredibly small and easy to remove and transport as a spare. We also know batteries don't discharge identically, and we know that as the power of these bikes increases to, say, the 60 Newton meters on the Fazua and Orbea Rise H with EP8 RS motor, we're getting into 400 to 500 watt-hour batteries, which are basically where we were at with eMTBs 7 or 8 years ago. I kind of feel like we're agonizing over fine details again and getting into those metrics that don't really matter, because ultimately, I think the most important consideration for all of us is range. And range is affected massively by rider weight, by terrain, by the mode you ride in and the condition. At the end of the day, it's all about choices. If you're simply looking for a bike to take the edge off things and give you range, maybe a bike with lower power will enable you to do that. At the same time, if you're a heavier rider, maybe one of the bikes with more torque will do that too. And finally, what about the weight of the bikes themselves? If it's not about power or battery concept, and it's certainly not about geometry, what is it about? Does a 50 Newton meter bike with a 360 watt hour battery weighing in at 19.5 kilos provide a markedly different experience to a 90 Newton meter bike with a 700 watt hour battery weighing in only a kilogram more? I think the answer to that question is yes, because behavior and experience are different things. But that doesn't mean to say that one is a lightweight eMTB and the other is not. I think the bottom line with all this is that there's simply so much overlap going on. There's overlap with batteries, there's overlap with motors, there's overlap with torque, there's overlap with bike weights. And people are looking for numbers that simply don't exist. And finally, I would say that metrics and numbers in themselves do not define how a bike rides. You need to get out and ride it.